Kids, come in here. It's time for your favorite radio program. It's time for Nerdy Neighbors.
Yay! Welcome to Nerdy Neighbors. This is a podcast that I do with my nerdy neighbor, Zach.
Hi, I'm Zach. I do it with my nerdy neighbor, Vince.
I'm Vince.
There's a blanket spoiler warning. Whatever we talk about, we'll talk about whatever we want to talk about. So if you haven't seen it and we're talking about it, you're going to hear something about it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's how English works.
You said a bunch of words in succession.
Wonderful sentence
Formed
structure.
a complete idea.
Oh, there's a peanut butter cookie saucer flying in.
Don't do it. Oh, there's
All right, so every week we start with news.
Yes.
A peanut butter cookie.
Peanut butter flavored news this week, Zach.
Peanut butter cookie saucer flew in. You go first, because I actually have to jog my memory.
Sure. So the first bit of news I got, seeing as how we're both nerds, and I brought this up to you not 5 minutes ago, Dungeons & Dragons just released a new campaign, or they're going to be releasing shortly, a new campaign entitled Ghosts of Saltmarsh, and it's going to be a campaign set on the high seas. I'm super stoked. I'm super stoked. But you remember?
Avast thee, ghosts!
I know. Did you remember when I told you that I wrote out a campaign?
Mm-hmm.
Did I also tell you that that is a high seas campaign?
I remember the hats.
Yeah. Yeah. So I got that going. And then in my other bit of news, we got word from Kevin Feige that the shows going on Disney Plus, the Marvel shows like Loki and Scarlet Witch, are going to be an official part of the MCU. So
yeah,
we don't really have to do that weird dance that Daredevil and all the Netflix stuff.
That was part of my news. So everybody in the world is my news is everybody in the world is getting cast for Dune. Now,
every single person.
What is your relationship, if any, with Dune?
None.
None?
None. I know that it's a book. I know that it has existed in
resting on your laurels. See,
a few video game formats, but beyond that,
I wish my brother was here for a couple reasons. By the way, I invited him to this episode because I would have really loved for his input. But anyways, Dune, JoJo. Oh. Dune is
shout out to JoJo.
Shut up, brother. Dune is bonkers, but it's wonderful, and it's the reason I bring him up is because I come by Dune honestly because it was handed down to me from my mother, who was not in any way encouraging. I would just walk in the room, not with this particular. Like there were things that she was like, "Oh, X-Men is awesome. Check this out. Lord of the Rings is awesome. You will like this. Big Trouble in Little China. I will buy you this for your 10th birthday because you are going to like this." And Dune was always like, I don't know, buddy. I mean, I'm watching it, yeah. I read them when I was in college. I read them when I'm bored. My mom, reads like Johnny Five. Like, she reads very quickly and all the time. And, it also, juggles. Like, she will be reading 3 or 4 books at once. There's, a workbook and an at-home book and, an after-dinner book.
Gotcha.
So
3 square meals a day.
That being the environment, I was like, well, I guess I'll check it out because most things she suggests are good. Right. And it's a fascinating read. I find myself in the same camp as my mother. Now, I've only read it once, and it is convoluted. And I think I was 17, and I am in my early 30s now. So it was a long time ago. Mm-hmm. But I remember really wanting to get it, having to reread it a lot, reread certain things like, what just happened?
Right.
But if you've read Game of Thrones, you could wrap your head around Dune.
Okay,
no problem.
Gotcha.
But
can I get Tywin Lannister to narrate Dune for me?
You might be able to find that.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, when I say everyone, should we run through some? I mean, Jason Momoa was the one that I noticed that I was
that was the one that sort of
But also Oscar Isaac.
Yeah.
Oscar Isaac somehow got cast in Dune. Everyone's going to be in Dune. Yeah, man, I didn't prepare. You really should check out.
We've got Patrick Stewart.
No, this is the original.
Oh, yes.
I was just going to say, you really should check out the original with Kyle MacLachlan, Patrick Stewart, and Sting. Third build. Sting. Oh man. Boy. All right, let's move on. We're trapped in the dunes now that I brought it up.
Stuck in the, I don't know. There's somebody in there with pierced nipples, right? Baron something.
Yes. Yes.
Gotcha.
There's all, I mean...
we're getting caught up in the nipple piercings. What's happening?
There's a great dagger fight.
Okay.
That is not thrilling, but you must see.
Okay. You got any other news?
Only,
What are you doing?
This is my other news. Hold on.
You know I can splice this in.
You can?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
I'm leaving this in. I'm 100% leaving this in.
Okay, so...
How do you think our intro gets put into this podcast every week?
There's not tapes rolling downstairs? Yeah. This isn't reel to
reel? My girlfriend set everything up.
Yeah.
And then I text her real quick.
I just imagine Liz down there drinking coffee and smoking cigarettes and just keeping an eye on the reels. It's a great Dune joke, man. So, I'm curious. I'm looking forward to Dune because it's one of my favorite kind of science fiction car crashes.
Okay.
Truly. Like, even the people who swear by the novel, I would argue, like,
Yeah. Gotcha.
It has its flaws.
Been there.
And then the movie is kind of infamous. I don't know if you've ever watched a documentary.
Nope. I know, besides the scrapings about Dune that I carve off the internet, I know nothing.
Like, David Lynch was attached to it at one point. Do you know David Lynch's work?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Like, it don't look at me like that. Like, it was bonkers. Of course, David Lynch was also approached for Jedi.
Yeah.
So, on to you, my friend.
No, that's all.
You got nothing else? Yeah, slow news week. Nothing really happening in media. Nothing worth talking about. So... Okay, so I have a game.
Yes.
Okay, I have a game. I don't really have a name for this game. Other than...
Is it the book, the game?
No. So I'm gonna ask you 10 questions, and there's no right or wrong.
Okay.
And this is like, let's think of it as a getting to know you game. You called it a Briggs-Meyer thing.
Sure.
Let's call it a mass odd thing.
That was way better than what we had before.
Thank you. Second drafts always work. All right. So just... for our listeners' sake, don't think too hard about it.
You're getting stream of
consciousness. Go with your gut instinct. Yeah, exactly. Stream of consciousness, but also be true. Vince. Be true to thyself.
To mine own self, be true.
Yeah. All right. Wonderful. All right. Question 1: favorite X-Men.
Favorite X-Man? Cyclops.
X-Men. Whatever. It doesn't have to be a man.
Well, I meant individual X-Men.
Cyclops.
Yes.
Okay. Favorite Jim Carrey role.
Ooh, that was a good one. The Mask?
Okay. Infamous or like huge movie that you have never seen and have no intention in seeing, parentheses, must be made after 1976, end parentheses. I don't care if you've never seen Gone with the Wind.
Okay, yeah. Brokeback Mountain? Probably.
I'll accept it. I don't know how infamous that is, but I'll accept it. I'll take it.
You obviously didn't go to high school with me.
Okay, favorite Star Wars film? No wrong answers.
Episode 3.
Episode 3.
Revenge
Okay.
of the Sith.
Favorite Nintendo 64?
The Nintendo 64.
No, favorite Nintendo 64 game. I apologize.
Smash Brothers.
Smash Brothers. Okay. Acceptable. Best James Bond actor?
I'm going to say Daniel Craig.
Okay. Favorite obscure Marvel superhero?
Favorite obscure
This is a weird one. This is a weird one.
Can I say... Well, he's not really a superhero.
I'll take it. What is it?
I was going to say Alex Wilder from Runaways.
I'll take it.
It's pretty obscure.
Okay.
He's also not a superhero. He's just a mob
superpower. Telepathy or telekinesis?
Telekinesis.
Okay.
I want to hear what people are thinking about me.
All right. So, last 2 questions.
Look at that guy. He's probably got
and they're not in order of...
big old dong. You know how much of that I'd get a day?
Apparently some guys think, smell that? That's my fart.
Yeah.
According to some commercials I've seen. I never think that as a man, but
Yeah.
anyways. All right. It's a bank robbery, Vince. And, in most bank robberies, there are 4 roles. You're either the leader, the lock guy, the safe cracker guy, the handler, meaning you handle...
Man.
Yeah. Handler, meaning like you handle the people.
I've robbed banks, Zach.
Got it. Or wheelman. Who are you?
I'm going to say the leader.
Nice. Okay. Cats or giraffes?
I mean, Gaston's in the room.
Yes, I
so
understand.
I'm going to say cats.
Okay. Now, Vince, you've fallen right into my trap.
Uh-oh.
Because there were wrong answers. Now let's go through them. All right. Favorite X-Men. Yes. You said Cyclops. I'm sorry. The answer is Wolverine.
Really?
Favorite
You're
Jim Carrey role. I'm not, and we can get into it.
You are the Starbucks.
We can get into it later.
You are the vests.
You're a young man. You're a young man, and that's why you're saying that. All right. Favorite Jim Carrey role. This was a trick question, and the answer is none of them.
What?
Infamous movie you have never seen and have no intention of seeing. I'm going to give you this one.
Okay.
I also have not seen this film. And frankly, don't have any intention to.
I wish I knew how to quit not seeing this movie.
But for me, what really would have been the correct answer, I would have accepted.
Mountain fans out there. Sorry, continue.
What I really would have accepted was Titanic or Braveheart.
I've seen both of those movies.
Favorite Star Wars film, Episode 3. Boy, oh boy, you actually got -2 on this one because you named a prequel. But I knew you were going to do that.
It's one. I'm not going to say it's the best because I can't just proclaim that. But I adore that movie. It's very good.
Favorite Nintendo 64 game? You get a point for.
Okay.
Because Smash Brothers is okay, but I was really looking for one of the Zelda games.
I've never played a Zelda game.
I know that, but I was hoping you'd
Thanks for leading me into that ditch.
Mm-hmm. Best James Bond, you got 5 points. Because you're absolutely right, it's Daniel Craig. And you didn't even think about it that long.
I was going to say Roger Moore.
I knew, but I would have gotten... That would have been 10 points.
Okay.
Because you go right to my heart with Roger Moore. Him in my first James Bond. Favorite obscure Marvel hero? I don't know who Alex Wider is. That's definitely 3 points. Because I don't really read Runaways.
Making up that prequel money.
Telepathy or telekinesis?
Wait. What's your favorite
obscure Marvel hero?
Marvel hero.
I don't really have one. Telepathy or telekinesis?
Telepathy
or telekinesis? You got 3 points because that's exactly the right answer. Telekinesis. You don't want to hear what people are saying. Bank robbery. Who would you want to be? Leader? Absolutely. Correct answer. That's who I would want to be too.
Well, it's not necessarily who I'd want to be. It's who I end up being.
You know what? Couldn't agree more.
Mm-hmm.
It's thrust upon me. Cats or giraffes? You're right. Gaston's in the room. It would have been fucked up if you said giraffes. So, by the skin of your teeth, I would say you passed this. The prequel question really screwed you up, man. You would have gotten a B easily. So, we got some work to do, but next time.
Next episode, let's do Revenge of the Sith.
I like Revenge of the Sith.
You heard it here. Both of Zach's brothers.
But it's an unacceptable answer when asked what's your favorite Star Wars film.
No, because everybody's going to say, oh, I love Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love Empire.
Because that is the correct answer.
In reality,
it's the same,
a pretty boring movie.
It's the same reason when someone says, what's 2 + 2? You say 4. Not because it'd be groovy to say 7, but because it's 4. And so when asked what the best Star Wars film is, one answers, Empire.
Again, that wasn't the question that was posited.
Oh, your favorite?
It was, what is your favorite?
Yeah.
I should have said the Christmas special.
Boy, I would have had to throw that in the computer to tabulate, because...
Happy Unity Day, everybody.
That would have maybe broken the charts, and I'd have been like, you know what? This test is broken. This guy just aced it in one question. I don't know how this happened. 100 points.
Zach, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about the film 2008, Amazing Spider-Man, starring Andrew Garfield, Emma Stone. Almost always call her Thompson. Almost always.
Thompson?
I swear to God, I almost always call her Emma Thompson.
I thought that the two that got mixed up was her and Watson.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I almost call her Thompson.
Yeah, that's fine.
Kevin Bacon? Wow. No. Stand-up comedian Dennis Leary is in there, and Irish Welsh name.
Yes.
So
as the lizard. I'm a leader.
So when we came up with this off mic, and I swear to you, after I made my recommendation, I was typing, you know what? Because I said, let's do Homecoming. Right. And a second later, you said you should do Amazing Spider-Man. I almost sent it. We should do Amazing Spider-Man. And I almost sent it to you just to be like, I swear I was just typing this to you. But I was like, I'm going to save it for on mic. Like, I promised you. I was like, you know what we should do, actually? Screw doing Homecoming, because we can talk about...
Yeah, well, I mean, with Homecoming, we would have ended up just applauding the movie. Like, sure, we'll have bits that we'll talk about, but in reality, the Amazing Spider-Man movies were never well received. Like, either of them.
Okay. So let's talk first impressions.
Sure.
When you first saw it, when you walked out of the film, you were like, 10 out of 10, 1 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Right.
Yeah. I love this movie.
I
love this movie from the get.
I was so along for the ride. As you know, it's well documented on this podcast. Never really a fan of the Sam Raimi films.
Yeah.
Always feel like they missed the mark.
I'd say Spider-Man 2 is a very good Spider-Man movie.
I disagree, especially because of the scene where Peter Parker sees those guys beating up the other guy. Because
we've talked about it. Yes.
So it was a really fun... when I first saw it, I was like, man, what a great summer film. The crotch scene especially really stuck out to me when he came out. And it was like... Because to me, that was like, well, hashtag that's my Spider-Man. And was overall like, man, what a charming film. The chemistry with those two, wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. The chemistry between these two is very good. So here, Zach, why don't you tell us give us a brief synopsis of The Amazing Spider-Man.
Amazing Spider-Man is the classic Spider-Man origin story. We meet a young Peter Parker who... this film is telling us as a nerd, but I don't really see any signs of it.
I never got nerd. Like, I got that he was
outcast.
I got that he was an outcast, and honestly, he's not so different from like the burner skateboard like dudes who had hang out at my
honestly
school.
Have a problem with this.
Really?
In hindsight, now.
Okay.
Remember, I told you like my feelings on this movie have drastically changed.
Yeah. What's your ish?
My ultimate. Well, ultimately, my thing is this is a great movie. I don't know that it's a great Spider-Man movie. I don't
want to get into the weeds of that because there's so many different Spider-Man stories that you can't say it's a bad Spider-Man story or it's not a good Spider-Man story. Or
I think it is. I think it misses the mark on Peter Parker.
No, you're thinking of 616 Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Imagine this is some other Peter Parker. Some other Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Do you not like the Ultimate Universe?
I do. No, this is with the thing though. Like even the Ultimate Universe had enough of the fingerprints of what I identify as Peter.
Yeah, but
and it's all aesthetic.
Dude,
it's all aesthetic. I know. I should.
You have
but
them
I can't.
in paperback
like especially
form.
like he's so fucking cute.
He is.
Like,
he is. Andrew Garfield's adorable.
It doesn't make sense that this guy's not.
Andrew, if you're listening to this, and we know you are.
No, I'm being objective here. I really am.
Yeah,
it's not that I'm like,
hit me up.
He's like, and it's not that Tom Holland isn't cute, and this is going to come up a lot. And
Tom Holland.
Hello,
I'm a cheeky little boy.
I want to be Spider-Man for the people.
We stop doing that. It's not ours. It's not ours.
Oh, it's not?
No. We did this last time that Tom Holland came up. It's from another...
Did I do this last time?
It's from another
when it's not
podcast.
ours?
Yeah, you're just like, oh man, I'm so mad.
I don't care. I want to be Spider-Man for the people.
Oh, could you spare another weapon, sir?
And he's got his little Dickensian cap on.
Yeah.
And suspenders.
He's swinging around around the city of London with his crutches.
I can do your flips for you, mister. Mrs.? What do they say? Okay, moving on. So... All right, so setting the table. So it's a classic Peter Spider-Man origin story. We're introduced to a seemingly nerdy Peter Parker. He's good at science. He has I love Martin Sheen. Mm-hmm. So I love. I have
written down
Peter
in my notes.
Parker.
They nailed
Uncle Ben.
Yes, I feel like they nailed Aunt May too.
I do.
Sally Fields knocks it out.
Yeah.
Crushes it.
No, I agree. And that stuff really works, but I think it's completely based on performance because it's. And I'm not mad at them for doing this, but it is something we all know. Like it is. It's interesting to me that we always see Bruce Wayne's parents get killed. It's interesting to me we always see Uncle Ben get killed. Mm-hmm. We never see Clark Kent's spaceship crash into Kansas. No one really cares about that. I guess, yeah, it does happen.
You see it every time.
It does, and not as much as I would argue in film.
I would say that we have seen Batman's parents die. We've seen Uncle Ben die more than we've seen the ship crash, but we see that pretty often.
Yeah. Well, there's also, maybe it's because you got to play a death that way, but like there's just so much.
We very rarely see the Flash get struck by lightning.
That's super true.
Happened,
but it's because it's stupid.
Yeah.
So, guys, he gets bit by a spider. He goes to Oscorp.
Mm-hmm.
Starts using the powers for his own benefit.
Yeah, he's a really bad guy at first.
Yeah, because I guess you don't want me to say it. Like, it's they're missing the mark on Peter Parker. But I mean, also in the comics,
he's learning.
Yeah, in the comics, he is also sort of a really bad guy. Even like the original Stan Lee one, like he turns into this weird aggro wrestler.
Well, not even that. He's being honest to the character we've been shown through the movie so far.
Yeah.
Leading up to that point, he was kind of a dick. And then he gets these powers. Of course he's going to keep on being a dick.
Here's what's awesome.
Until, with more power, more responsibility, blah, 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 blah.
And Gwen Stacy is, like, perfect.
Yeah.
They do her, like, she's, like, script to screen is perfect.
I agree.
Like, I remember the first time watching it having a problem with her rushing to Oscorp to try to help save the day, and then this time watching it being like, well, no, this is a character choice.
Right.
Like, this is a turning point for her.
Exactly.
This is her, like, not necessarily being inspired by Pete, but definitely being like, oh, well, it's possible.
Yeah.
And her dad's a cop and stuff like that. Like, you can help it completely makes sense.
Yeah.
The first time I saw it, I was like,
she's
a
very
teenage
far
girl
gone
would
from
not.
Like the Raimi damsel in distress that we got.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm on board with that.
But also, there's a skateboarding scene montage thing.
Yeah. I'll give you that one.
The kissing scene worked for me a lot more 11 years ago than it does now.
On the rooftop when he pulls her back in?
And he's like so nervous to say something.
Yeah.
He's like, why?
Listen,
I just...
the emotion was conveyed.
First time it worked for me. This time I was like, this is really painful.
Yeah.
This is like... And it's somebody...
Again, it's a kid in high school.
No.
I was like that in high school.
It's two actors
worse than
actually flirting, and it's weird.
I don't think that's the case.
Okay.
No, because if it was two actors actually flirting, you would notice that Andrew Garfield has a British accent.
That guy's... Okay. All right, man. Look, as a ham who lays it on thick when he's trying, I can smell it when I sees it. All right? And that guy knows what he's doing.
All right, moving on.
Yeah. Because it worked for everybody.
Peter becomes Spider-Man. Well, Peter becomes a guy with spider powers.
Well, we don't have to sit at the table too much. Presumably they've seen it. I like the lizard.
Yeah. The lizard's good. Kirk
it's such a cool... Like, they used that perfectly.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't... Like, they kept it simple.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like that Connors was conflicted. Like, the only reason that he injected himself is because he was going to lose his job anyway, and that's his only chance to get his fucking arm back.
I truly would argue that he works more than Peter Parker. And he is way...
The only reason you're saying that is because you have this idea in your head of how Peter Parker has to act, and you're not letting a different point of view.
I can't get around making him not awkward.
You were just talking about how awkward that kiss was.
No, I was saying that he was playing up some kind of weird, awkward puppy thing. Like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing.
But the awkward's
it's not
word
like,
in that sentence you just used.
Right. But, like, there's like an awkward moment and there's an awkward person. There's like an awkward way of being, and then, you could be Brad Pitt and have an awkward moment with someone. It doesn't necessarily, like, indicate any kind of...
What in the movie up to that point
well,
led
I would
you to
say
believe
it's
that
just
he
the
was
trappings,
supposed
it's
to be
the
an
aesthetic,
awkward
it's the bloody skateboard, man, and he wears very cool clothes and he has very nice styled hair, and there is one shot that I feel like is recreating the first Spider-Man comic, where he has his glasses on and his hair is combed up in a very comic booky way.
Yeah.
So I get like
He's wearing the sweater.
the first time I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, they're using the modern, like, I like it all. I really do. But then at the same time, when I'm watching it, I'm like, this guy is super cool. Like, I would be jealous of this guy if I went to school with him.
I don't think that's necessarily... I don't think they were trying to not have that happen.
I agree.
Because kids should want to be Spider-Man.
Look, I'm not saying this is objectively a flaw. I'm saying for me it is. Subjectively, it's flaw. Yeah. For me, I'm going, man, this is a really sexy, cool Peter Parker.
You want to talk about his parents?
Oh, right. I always blank that out, and I just watched it. That's an interesting move, don't you think?
Yes. It's a shame it'll never be paid off, but it's also kind of a blessing that it will never be paid off.
In the comics, they've never really done anything that good with it. It was an interesting thing to do in the movies.
Yeah.
It's like... I mean, I would say it's a little bit too... what's the word I'm looking for? A little too overzealous.
A little
like,
bit.
We'll walk into this Parker parent situation and we'll do it right.
Yeah. Let's make them secret agents.
Well, that's what they tried to do during the clone saga of the 90s.
Mm-hmm. Did they turn out to be robots? LMDs?
It was, yes.
Yeah.
That's how they, that was retconned.
Yeah.
Sort of. Yeah. It was just a bloody mess. I actually don't even remember that well.
The first thing I've written about this movie is Peter's glasses origin story.
It's like Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
I forgot that happens because I was so focused on like, oh yeah, Martin Sheen. I forgot Martin Sheen was Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
And I love Martin Sheen. What else do I like about this movie? Croc's perfect. Captain Stacy's perfect.
Oh my goodness. So Dennis Leary.
I don't think he's working that hard.
Really?
No. He was cast perfectly.
Yeah,
that's what you cast Dennis Leary to come in and... Yeah, okay, sure.
What does that mean? Yeah, sure. This is a podcast.
If he was... Okay, I would say he was bringing it if he was showing up and playing like a transvestite, or if he was showing up and playing something that was really going against the grain for him. He's like a Chicago grouchy guy who showed up and played a New York grouchy cop.
Exactly. Two way different
That's perfect
areas.
Casting, and it's just he's reading good lines. It's good characterization.
I don't think you're giving Dennis Leary enough credit as an actor.
I will never give him enough credit. For me, it's like asshole comedians who we never should have liked. It's Bill Maher, and then a little bit after that, Dennis Leary.
Yeah, no, I get that.
I have no disrespect to him. He did a great job, but it's not like I'm not going to praise him for it. He showed up and was Dennis Leary. It's a great paycheck. Way to go. He doesn't need my praise. He got plenty of money for that.
What about the Stan Lee cameo?
Oh, remind me what it is.
So it's during the fight in the school with the lizard.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
I think that's my favorite Stan Lee cameo.
Yeah, more to come, but yeah.
Well,
I'm interested to see what the Homecoming one is. Apparently, people are crying about that and stuff.
Well, I mean, it's the first one he's done.
And I haven't seen Into the Spider-Verse
since his passing. Into the Spider-Verse one's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think this one is hands down my favorite. It's succinct. It's brief. Like, he doesn't have any speaking lines. Just janitor cleaning up.
I think is he? I thought he was. Yeah, I thought he was listening. Is he a janitor? I thought he was just a guy. My read on that was like, oh, he's the librarian.
Oh, he might be the librarian.
And he's like, I'm putting on this record, chillaxing. Maybe gonna smoke a doob a little later.
That's how brief he was in this movie, but it was worked out very well.
For sure, all school librarians are really high, right? 100%. You burn one down.
No, because my librarian at school was, how do I put this the right way? A dick.
Right.
So defo not chill enough.
What do you think of the kind of mutagen toxic bomb MacGuffin thing?
So, you know how all the bad things in modern day movies are a blue light to the sky?
Yeah.
I feel as though around the late aughts, it was, hey, there's a gas.
Yeah.
That's how it felt. And, like, I don't know why.
I'm on the other side of this coin. I was down.
Yeah, no, it worked. It worked for me. It's just like, really?
And I actually literally thought, there's not enough of this. But then I started thinking...
I'm glad that he turned multiple people into lizards before it got undone.
Well, then I started thinking, isn't that not that different than what happens in Suicide Squad?
Kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, it just gave me pause where I was like, oh, this doesn't happen enough. And then I was like, well,
yeah,
I've seen it happen to not great effect. I wish this movie would. But I love, like, in the OG Power Rangers, like, putties would show up and you'd fight putties and then the bad guys. Like, so I love putties. Mm-hmm. Like, I love, like, you know.
You love the goons.
Yeah. But, like, especially goons that are, like, mini boss. Like, the mini version of the boss. Like, they're, like, not quite the lizard.
Yeah. We are just lizards.
And again, I can't stress enough, the second time around, love Gwen Stacy being like, dude, I'm going there and doing this.
In the Spider-Gwen comic book series, there should be a rival punk band called Dr. Connors and the Lizards. Who's ever writing that, there you go. You're
Dr. Connor and the Lizards.
Dr. Connor and the Lizards.
You don't even have to credit him.
Well, no.
No, I'm speaking
credit
for
me.
you. No, he doesn't want the credit.
No, I do. I really do.
He's a humble guy.
All right, moving on. What else you want to talk about?
Well, I was going to ask, did you see the second one?
Yeah.
Now, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Now, here's why. You know how I like to color my opinion before I ever see things?
Yep.
It seemed like a production mess.
Mm-hmm.
I heard so many different things about who the bad guys were going to be. And then once I found out it was...
Well, there's only one bad guy.
Yeah.
Bobby Arad.
I've gotten this... It's so true.
Mm-hmm.
It's so true. And I mean, so I never saw it.
Okay.
So, does that add to your... Not that I'm questioning your affection. Does that add to your affection of this movie as like, well, this was the good one because the next one is kind of... Or like not
I like the other one. I like the second one.
Oh, really?
It's not good, but by any stretch of the imagination,
right.
It's not good. I like it though. The effects are good. The soundtrack in it is weird, but not bad. And it's electro and Dane DeHaan. I love Dane DeHaan.
I mean, I have not that much else to talk. Like, I can list other stupid things that irritated me, like the post credits thing with like the tipping the hand with Osborn.
Mm-hmm.
Even then felt hacky and like just a
Oh, you still haven't seen Venom.
I still have not seen Venom, but I know the
hacky post credits.
Yeah. I watched that on YouTube.
It's great.
And it I don't know, it grates me.
It's gonna be Sideshow Bob.
It grates again, like, you know, it's just there's nothing that I hate more than a missed opportunity. There's nothing that irks me more than, you know, going like, you know, there's this like established thing and now we can play with it. You know, it is sort of what made Deadpool work.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, you know, so just doing like this post-credits thing of like, here's this guy you guys might know, even 11 years ago bothered me, and this time still bothered me. Like, why not pepper him in? Why not introduce him? Why not, like, seriously, like, commit, cast someone, and have him in some commercials, and, you know, have him make a quick...
Do some multi-layered marketing.
Yeah, and then, I don't know, pepper it in, man. Like, make it a cereal.
Mm-hmm. Well, wait. No. Multimedia marketing?
But
I think I just described
you know, it's such a not specific argument. It's not that interesting to even talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I really most of my problem is Peter Parker's cool clothes and his skateboarding.
Tom Holland dresses like a cool kid.
I don't think so.
He rocks those like dope ironic shirts.
Sure, they are ironic. I don't know that is if you and I were to 21 Jump Street it, what is cool. I think
says find
there are
X,
definitely...
and if there's an arrow pointing to the X.
I think there are definitely people wearing those. I don't know that they are the cool ones.
Yeah.
They probably don't look like Tom Holland, I agree. But that's, it's the world we're living in, Vince. It's just, it's the prettier people are ahead of us.
You definitely ain't wrong.
Girl.
Mm-hmm.
But, again, a great film. I just think they missed the mark on some of the Peter Parker.
Yeah. Well, that's like your opinion, man. But I can see why you say that. I just wish you wouldn't say that.
Especially post Homecoming.
Yeah,
and Homecoming
after
gets
what
to
we
come.
got.
Homecoming gets to come after Amazing, and they do get to go. Okay, there's really no need to do Ben Parker, and let's allude to it.
Yeah,
which is so cool. And let's do like a meeker Peter, like you said yourself. Like he's an asshole, but like I would even argue, like when he's beat up and he's in Gwen's room and he's kind of poking fun of her for the chocolate, living in a chocolate house,
and Patney.
Great scene, but it's like that doesn't feel like a Peter move. I don't know.
No, I get where you're
maybe it
from.
sort of is. I don't know.
It's not.
I do know.
It's not the Peter Parker you were expecting.
It wasn't. No. The first time I watched it, I was like, sure, I'm on board. I kind of like that he's this is a modern Peter Parker. Like this is what, he is just a loner. It's not that he's weird and nerdy, because that kind of thing doesn't exist anymore. People don't kick sand in the skinny guy's face. Yeah. Like they did in the 60s, I guess. As a skinny guy, shwoof. Dodged the bullet there. But that worked for me. But now, maybe especially because post Tom Holland, I'm watching and I'm going, he's too cool, man. He's too cool for school.
I can't wait for you to see Into the Spider-Verse.
What? When we don't have a chimney. Is that a commercial for the second one? Actually,
that is a commercial for the second one.
Anyways, and he does sort of look like Ben Schwartz.
Yeah, but that's just amazing.
Did you think that a couple of times? No. I was watching it this time. He sort of looks like Ben Schwartz.
No, there is that one actor though that very much looks like Ben Schwartz.
Yeah, the guy who plays Steve Harrington.
Correct.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Well, I mean that can be it.
So
we have to talk
but I want to
other stuff.
1 out of 5 this.
Sure.
And I'm going to give this a solid 4.
Okay. That's being very generous.
It's a really good movie. You should watch it.
I agree.
Especially people who aren't I have a friend who doesn't like Spider-Man at all. Actively is like.
I mean, you had a friend.
Actively is like, that's a really stupid idea, and I would say watch this.
What?
Yeah. Let's not even give him any more time of day. But I would say watch this movie.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing. Basically, if you're going into this with an idea of Peter Parker in your head, stop, get that out of your head.
I think that's going to be most
4 out of 5.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's just it's definitely they missed the mark on Peter Parker. I was gonna bring up Dick Grayson and Titans.
It all comes back to Dick with you.
Mm-hmm. Always.
All right.
What about you?
I'd give it a 4.
A 4?
A 4, yeah. There were parts of it that I very much liked. I like that Peter grew into being Spider-Man. He didn't have that, I'm a good guy. He didn't have that aura about him.
Right.
He grew into it as somebody would. He's a kid. He's not 18.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I feel like not that different than Steve Rogers. It is a thing that feels like was always in. Never mind. What I'm about to describe is not really. I won't be able to describe that well. What do you want to do next? You want to do homework?
Yeah.
Let's start with me because it was a comic.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so I read. It's called Ice Cream Man.
Ice Cream Man.
Ice Cream Man. So I read it last week and then I read it again today. Mm-hmm. It's a curious comic.
Tell the audience. What is it about?
I don't know what it's about. It's these 5 or 4 vignettes with these 4 different characters who all seem to live in the same town and are all visited by this ice cream man who, I can't tell, is either visiting their own sins on them sometimes. He also seems to have captured one in some kind of hell, a dead person in some kind of hell dimension.
So I believe that it's an anthology. So it's a bunch of different people telling stories connected.
Yeah. But I think they're all in the same town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all have like a horror theme to them.
Yeah.
Or like more of an existentialist type thing about them.
Right, but there is this thread of the ice cream man.
Yes. So the ice cream man doles out ice cream as well as suffering to these people.
Yeah. He's like also seemingly like omnipotent. Like he can kind of do whatever he wants whenever he wants.
Mm-hmm.
He's an interesting character.
I agree.
He's mysterious as hell. I really want to read more. Sheesh, I don't know what else to say. The first comic, I'll kind of describe the first comic. The first comic centers around this kid, Dutch. But we're also introduced to 2 detectives, one of which seems to matter more, and her name's 5V. Is the kid's name not Dutch? It's Byron.
Byron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I've been paying
Fuck you,
attention. Yeah, Byron. So Byron has a pet spider. He gets, first he buys some ice cream. He goes home. He has a pet spider. Before he walks into his home, he plugs his nose. He goes in. Then we're introduced to his pet spider, whose name I don't remember. Reggie. Which is also the name of the snake in Indiana Jones.
Does that snake like adults? Because Reggie does not like adults.
And, his nose is plugged with, like, a clothespin. And he says hello to Reggie, and he goes into his kitchen, and there's these 2 corpses in there. We're led to believe they're his parents. Then we'll go to the police department or whatever,
The spider bit his parents.
Yeah, well, the whole time someone is describing how poisonous a certain spider is.
Yes.
And then we're introduced to the spider that has been being described. I don't want to sit at the table too much. We go to the police department. There's a lady there complaining that some monster ate her cat. She brought her cat's bones in her purse. After she leaves, the detectives are like, boy, there's some kooks in this town. And the captain sends the...
It comes back.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm getting there.
Yeah. It's not just some lady with her cat's bones, and like she's saying, "Hey, there's something out there. That did this to my cat."
Yeah, she said she saw a monster. And she describes it for them, and they draw like a wolf man.
Yeah.
And she leaves, and they're like, "Boy, there's some kooks in this town." And the captain's like, "These 2 folks haven't come to work in a while. They're, go check on these 2 missing people. They haven't come to work in a while." The 2 detectives go check on the 2 missing people. As we all know at this point, it's those 2 dead people. They got bit by a spider. The kid, Byron, is in the woods. And he runs into the ice cream man. And the ice cream man is not in his ice cream man 1950s garb. It's all torn up, except for like just covering like little Daisy Dukes. Bits. And he's got his hat on again. And he goes, not again, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Byron is like, what the heck? And the ice cream man, Byron's holding a stick, and the ice cream man points at the stick and turns it into 2 scoops of ice cream, which Byron previously ordered at the beginning of the book. Byron is now sated, and the ice cream man leaves the woods, advising Byron to go home and stay out of the woods. It's dangerous out there. This is all very curious. And very reminiscent of like a wolf man.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the not again. Byron goes home.
Oh, that's not what I got from that, but continue.
Well, I don't think now, having finished the book, but like my first instinct was like, I guess he's like a magic wolf man because he turned his stick into ice cream. Anywho, that wolf man thing's probably going to come up later on. Anywho, Byron goes home, and the 2 police officers have found his dead parents, and one of them, unfortunately, has been bitten by the spider. Byron runs off terrified that he's in trouble now. He doesn't seem to understand that his parents are dead. Byron seems to be 6 or 7.
Yeah. Byron is still a wee child, and he does not.
Yeah, he thinks they're just like not moving.
Yeah.
Anywho, 5V runs after Byron. They go into the woods, and Byron gets picked up by this big wolfman creature. Seriously, it's just like a classic 1950s wolfman, folks.
Yeah.
And 5V doesn't know what to do. There's all kinds of cat bones littered around the monster that is now holding this child aloft. And Reggie the spider bites the back of the monster.
Saves the day. That's the second spider hero we're talking about.
So put that in your pipe and smoke it, spider doubters.
But yeah, the spider takes a big old chunk out of the wolfman.
The detective asks Byron, "What's your name, kid?" The kid says Byron.
The detective says, "Fuck you, Byron."
It's a wonderful ending to a comic.
Yeah. I totally did not realize until this moment in time that the Wolfman was the ice cream man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, but like that has to be something else he's doing that we'll find about later. Some other terror he's putting on someone, or maybe some kind of curse. I don't know. It's my guess.
Don't got to worry about. I originally thought that because later on in this book, his ice cream truck gets robbed, or he gets jacked.
Yeah.
I thought that was, I thought they were Tarantinoing me.
Oh.
But, turns out.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It's the Wolfman.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But I don't get why he was the Wolfman. Anyways, so that was the first comic, and the second comic is this weird kind of vignette about addiction, and, I don't want to get into that one too much. We don't have to go into everything. The third one's about a one-hit wonder guy who dreams about saving a world with music. He meets Eleanor Rigby and Captain Jack and Ruby Tuesday and
others.
Major Tom.
Yes.
That was the one I was really looking for. And all of them have this ice cream man, this omnipotent, seemingly can do whatever he wants ice cream man. And they're all kind of moral tales.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I put it to you that it was kind of a Twilight Zone-esque thing, does that come through?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And I really enjoyed it.
Good. I didn't want to because I remember saying that it was like Black Mirror. Yeah. And you kind of pulled back a bit, but I'm glad that you liked it.
Yeah. No one had sex with a pig.
Yeah.
All right. So not only did I like it, I really want to read more, and I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Like it is everything you've assigned me to read. This is again just another cracker.
Yeah. I love the art.
Check it out. Yes.
The art's so
wonderful.
Cool.
Yeah. He's visited at the end of this thing. This ice cream man who we've in the narrative have been taught is a power to contend with is visited by a fellow who looks an awful lot like him, dressed in black, and expresses a displeasure with what he's been up to. Yeah. And the ice cream man looks terrified.
Yeah.
And I want to know what's up there. It's a good book.
All right, Zach.
Excuse me. I'm so sorry, audience.
So you gave me 2 episodes of Buffy to watch.
I did. It was like a spur of the moment. Well, my friend, let's be honest with everyone, or just the couple of people.
Sure.
I gave you the option of just picking one of these, and you said, why not?
So here's the thing. Zach gave me 2 Buffy episodes. I have been working open to close shifts at work for the past 6 days. So I have found myself with an abundance of time and not a lot to fill that time up with because I'm bad at my job.
So I preface this by saying I have a personal favorite, and there's the musical. Yeah, I know you like musicals.
Yeah, you just used it up against me. my passion for musicals.
So where do you want to start?
Well, let's start with
which one?
The first one canonically.
Okay. So the first one canonically, this is a personal favorite of mine, is season 3,
episode 8.
It's called Lover's Walk. How should I start my questioning of you?
Yeah.
Okay, so 1 out of 5 of your enjoyment.
My enjoyment.
No, I gotta brace myself. Should I make a drink?
No, I would say I enjoyed this at about a 3.
I was
I
expecting
feel like if I had
three or a two.
I feel like if I had been watching the series up until this point, it would most likely have gone up.
Yes.
But jumping in as that being my first episode with only having a Dune level of knowledge about Buffy.
Yeah.
I don't I didn't realize that Seth Green was a werewolf until later on.
Yeah.
I didn't know Xander's name.
Yeah.
For quite a bit of this. I took a stab that Spike was Spike and Spike wasn't Angel.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
Also, Angel and Buffy are kind of like in this weird place.
Yeah. I was like, all right,
he's
stop acting like children.
You're 17. I'm 136.
Yeah, it's weird.
We shouldn't be doing this. And she's like, why not?
That was a dead. What? Was she here?
Get out of here, Sarah Michelle Gellar. So here's the reason this is one of my favorite episodes. Season 3 is my favorite season because it's the last season that they're really proper teenagers in high school. After this, she goes to college and lots of other stuff. It's also
Sunnydale University.
It's also the she does go to Sunnydale University.
Does
that happen in this episode?
No, that's not an actual thing. Shut up.
Yeah, she does.
Why?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Because.
But you don't name. You wouldn't name a university.
Sure you would.
No.
It's on a hellmouth.
What?
Sunnydale is built on a hellmouth.
Yeah, no, I get that. But what does that have to do with the naming conventions of colleges?
Well, evil stuff happens there.
How big is Sunnydale?
I don't know, but at the end it gets blown up.
Oh, well.
So now it's just a big gaping hole in the wall. It gets sucked into hell. Okay, so the reason I like this episode...
Big holes in the floor, end up with people not doing so well.
Yeah.
This episode.
Oh my god. So the first time I watched that, it hit me. Vince, I need you to imagine a prepubescent Zack, right? 12 years old.
What else do I do with my dad?
His wanting big brown eyes, his supple lips. No.
his wonderful smooth skin.
His brown curls falling carelessly upon his brow. No, like up in his bedroom, just number one, desperately wanting to be a teenager. Just that's all I wanted to be was a teenager in high school. And watching that and just like oh man, all the love triangles and just like I know.
Were you one of those kids that wanted braces growing up?
No.
I was.
No.
I wanted braces and glasses. Guess what I got, Zach?
What'd you get?
Fucked up teeth and bad vision.
My vision's perfect. My teeth are fucked up. So when she falls, that was like the most. I would look rad in an eye patch.
I give it to you.
When she falls and gets that rebar through her gut, that was the most real piece of like a lighthearted, stupid teenage show I'd ever seen. Like it had gotten so real for me, and I know like
Cordelia.
Cordelia, yeah. You didn't know any Cordelias growing up?
No.
I knew Adelia.
Is that a flower?
No.
Cordelia?
No, it's a name. It's probably a West Coast thing. We're East Coast babies.
Gotcha.
Represent East Coast. What up? So the reason I like this episode, I'll stop dancing around it. I love Spike. He's my favorite character on the show.
He became my favorite character.
Yeah.
Through these 2 episodes.
These are 2 huge different shades of Spike. I like Spike talking to Buffy's mom about how
it's so wonderful because so Buffy's mom hasn't met Spike up to that point.
So let me set the table a bit. Spike was the bad guy in season 2.
I put that.
But only for half of it, and then halfway. So let me set the table. This is not going to take me long. Sure. Spike and Drusilla are like this power couple.
Yes,
they're these super evil vampires, and he comes to Sunnydale in the first place because Drew is very sick and she needs Slayer blood.
Right
now, mid-season, they get the Slayer blood from a second Slayer. Not going to get into it. She gets healed, but, twist of fate, his back gets broken. And so for the rest of the second season, he's in a wheelchair, and then Angel turns evil. So,
gotcha.
Spike was a big bad.
That's where Azrael comes
in. What?
Batman?
Oh, right.
Come on, man.
I swear to God, I went to Supernatural.
Oh.
And then I also started thinking Sandman.
I also have written down in my notes, Buffy feels like Diet Supernatural.
No.
Okay.
I want to smack you in the face. No. Supernatural. Okay. You know what? You know what? You know what? All right. Anyways, so
Power couple back.
That's the. I just wanted to set that table. That was so. The last time Spike saw them, they were fighting to the death.
Okay. Gotcha.
He had no soul. Like they do.
Wait, Angel had no soul.
Angel had no soul.
Okay.
Last time he saw them, Angel was trying to destroy the world. They do a spell. It gives him his soul back last minute, but she still has to kill him. Wait. Then he comes back at the beginning of the season. So the table is set.
Yes.
So Spike showing up and crying about Drusilla, having seen their relationship and how like inseparable they are, like works. Like he was so formidable, and now without her, he's
just a puppy. He's a sad drunk puppy. It's really good. I like that he tells anybody that will listen. He's like, "I'm gonna get her back. I'm gonna get her back. Would you leave me?"
Yeah,
it was great.
He also keeps explaining that he was right.
Yeah.
He was the victim. She was making out with a blah blah demon. Have you ever seen one of those?
Chaos demon. Yes.
A chaos demon. They have antlers with slime all over them. They're disgusting.
It's very good. I enjoyed this episode.
And then his monologue when they're in the magic shop, and the "You'll Never Be Friends" monologue.
Yeah,
to me
that's what sold it. That's what sold him as my favorite character. He just laid it out. He's like, "Listen, you guys will do this dance, but love doesn't go away."
Yeah, love isn't brains, children. Yeah. It's blood screaming in your heart to do its will. It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's a brilliant performance. He's so good as Spike. And the day I learned that he was American blew my mind. I was like 14, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah. So James Marsters, the guy who plays Spike, he also narrates the Dresden Files books.
Yeah.
Which I'm a huge fan of.
Yeah.
So, like, you know when you watch The Dark Knight and you can hear Heath Ledger in the Joker?
Yeah, sure.
There was that for me with Spike. I was like, hold on. Is he going to pull out his blasting rod anytime soon? Something like that?
So, no big deal, but I met him one time.
Oh, MBD. Oh.
Yeah.
Humble brag over here.
Yeah. I came over and said hi, and I was a big fan. And he told me a story about how Angel got canceled. It was not a big deal.
It sounds like a big deal. It sounds like you guys are best friends.
It really happened to me.
I'm glad. I'm glad it happened to you.
My girlfriend at the time said, "I loved you in Supernatural last week," because he was just in Supernatural. And he went, "Yeah, I got to make out with Cordelia." All that happened. It was a big deal for me.
I get it, man.
I don't want to take time out of our day to talk about the character of Spike and what it did for me, but it was huge.
Good.
So, was there anything you really didn't like about this episode? I would love to hear that. Like, up to and including clothing.
Okay, so...
Because the clothing on Buffy keeps getting better the older I get.
Yeah, man. Those wide pant legs.
Those wide pant legs. Xander's in these huge shirts. They're normally Hawaiians.
Polos. And they're... Oh, my goodness. Is he going bowling? Oh, man.
He moves around a lot in those swoopy clothes.
It just reminds me of what I wore in high school.
Me too. Me too. And for me, like before, it's like middle school, like very wide-legged pants. Normally a South Park T-shirt that was
fit all that leg in there.
Yeah, it's like it looks like I was wearing my boyfriend's shirt to sleep. Things you didn't like about Lover's Walk.
No, it wasn't so much things I didn't like.
Or any glaring things that were like.
Not really. I liked it for the most part. I can't think of a thing that I didn't like about it.
It's one of the better episodes of a Monster of the Week show. I would argue everyone's a really good actor, so everyone has craft to do in that one. I'm assuming that the factory
is like a normal hangout for Spike, because...
Oh, it was his base.
Okay, yeah, because when Spike eventually meets up with Angel and Buffy, and he says, "I have Willow hostage," or whatever, and she's just like, I mean, they're probably just in the factory, right? And he looks away from the camera.
Yeah.
Like, it's really great.
That was his base last year.
Yeah, I love that. I love that a lot.
He continues to be that guy.
So what's the connection between Willow and Xander?
They've been best friends since they were 5.
Okay, but they have the hots for each other?
It just sort of started. So, like...
Because I thought it was, like, some compulsion thing. Like, I thought... he's probably like a warlock and she's a witch.
No. And the older I get, the more I see those scenes, the more I'm like, boy, he's really pushy.
Yeah.
But, right?
Yeah.
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 She says no often.
Yeah.
Anywho, like, it's this weird love triangle thing. It's very teenagery, and I actually think it's a little true to life. Like, once those two finally have... Because they were both nerdy outsider people, and now she's dating... Oz, who is pretty cool, and Cordelia, who literally...
Hold on. Seth Green is cool?
He's cool. And then Cordelia, who...
Think about stuff you keep in those cargo pants.
He's got painted fingernails. And then Cordelia is, in the show, the most popular girl in the school. She becomes less popular to date Xander. She's kind of a joke now.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's his oeuvre.
Yeah. So now, like, just this weird thing happened. And it, like, one could argue, and in the show they do, like, the first time it happened, they're constantly life-threatening things, and they kissed because they thought they were going to die.
Of course.
But now, because they're teenagers and they kiss once, and that wall's broken, and hormones are hormones.
Just want to make a connection.
And they're always alone together.
Maybe make a connection in the butt.
But, like...
Crack that god, man.
But
It's a real bummer.
You got to speak up. You can't just lay out bombs like that, man.
I've been doing that this entire episode. And I've also been listening back to episodes. And I'm like, man, I'm quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it too. It's like, man, he's laying out zingers, and you got to commit to him.
So just take those as little bits for you.
But
so we know why we're friends.
So that's what's happening there. And actually, like, in the show, Xander is there just to be the guy. Mm-hmm. Everyone else has a thing.
Okay.
Xander's Xander.
So he doesn't have a thing.
No.
Like, not a chosen one, doesn't have a special sword? Or...
No.
Wow.
And in the entire show, doesn't necessarily... Like, he's... Like, in a fight, if he had to, he could probably take us. But he's never, like... It's a thing Joss consciously did. Like, you know, he always shows up. He always tries. He always... Like, you know, Xander's the first one on the lines. But he'd also probably be the easiest to kill.
Peter Parker.
Sort of.
Well,
yeah.
Except for that last part.
Mm-hmm. I would say he's less charming than Peter Parker.
Okay.
I have some, but like, you know, I have some issues with the character, but overall as a concept, it's solid. Mm-hmm. Like this idea of like, well, no, he never becomes a ninja.
Yeah.
Like if you were best friends with a superhero, just by proxy, you wouldn't get good at fighting.
I feel like you would, though.
Like, well, that's what I'm saying. A little he would. He could take us. He's better than the average. He's fought demons. He's killed vampires.
They have like a vault of like arcane weapons and artifacts. So you think you might like deck your bro out? Like
he's
give him some chainmail and a mace.
Dude, at one point they get in trouble with like
the Foundation.
Well, stuff comes up and he has to prove his mettle, and like he does, and he's got heart for sure.
Yeah, I get.
But I mean, it's like, you know, that's what he's there for. The Captain Planet of this all, he's the kid with the heart ring. Yeah.
Where he rips out people's hearts.
So that's his deal.
Okay. Let's talk about the other episode.
Oh, the musical.
So, Season 6, Episode 7, Once More with Feeling. I fucking love this episode.
It's amazing.
I love it.
It's so good.
It's so good.
How about that Little Mermaid thing? She kills a vampire.
Yeah. Okay. So
I'll set the table.
Yeah, go for it.
A demon comes to Sunnydale, and he kills people through making them sing and dance like it was a musical.
Well, a demon was summoned.
Yes, he was summoned
to Sunnydale.
I figured we'd get to that.
Okay.
His name is Mr. Trick.
Did not know that.
He takes credit for Romulus and Remus. He takes credit for I gave Nether his very first fiddle. Damn it, I'm not going to be able to think of it. But like he's a cool demon, man.
Yeah,
he's He wears a zoot suit.
Were you trying to reference The Devil Goes Down to Georgia?
No, he
he
says something in his
reference?
No, he says something in his song. He says he gave somebody their very first fiddle, but I can't think of it now, and I don't want to play it.
Okay.
So everyone starts singing their emotions. Now, I would love to tell you, I know they do in the show.
I thought you were about to say, I would love for us to sing how we feel right
No.
now. And I would not have done it.
No. So in the show at this point, her friends brought her back to life.
Yeah, that's a big part of this episode.
Because
they
thought
she was in heaven. And they thought she was in hell, but she was actually in heaven.
Yeah, and she hasn't told
anyone. And she doesn't know how to tell them. Yeah, like you ruined this.
The first episode, the only person, once she's back and she's like not catatonic, because the way they play it in the show, getting ripped from heaven is a very traumatic experience.
One would assume.
So when she's put back in her body, she thinks she's in hell.
Right. Yeah, I could get that. And she says it multiple times throughout the episode. She says that I'm in hell.
Spike is the only person. This is the only thing I'm going to say actually to set the table, since you actually got that, because the episode tells you beautifully. Spike is the only person who knows.
Oh, okay.
He is the first person she told.
Yeah. Well, I mean, their relationship has drastically changed since the last episode I watched.
Yes. So, fourth season. In the fourth season, they're all in college, and Spike is around. I'm not going to get into it too much. And at the end of
just
one
auditing classes,
he's a TA. They really change him.
Turns the seat around, sits backwards on it.
Starts wearing sweater vests.
Listen, kids, I want you to take this textbook. I want you to throw it away. That's not how we do stuff in this class.
Take your chairs, throw them out the window.
Everybody has to stand. That's a weird choice I'm making, but everybody has to do it.
Let's do class outside today. Come on, guys. It's a beautiful day. Carpe diem.
But Spike is around.
So, fourth season, he, at the end of this episode, Buffy breaks into his catacomb, and she's like, I've had it with you. And he's like, oh yeah, Slayer? Why don't you do something about it? And she's like, don't make me, Spike. And he's like, do it. And then they start kissing.
Yeah.
And then Spike wakes up. And then he goes,
oh no.
Oh no. Oh no. And that is the beginning of his obsession.
That's pretty good.
So all of season 5.
I think this Joss Whedon character might be on this.
All of season 5, he's like this annoying kind of stalker.
Yeah.
And it's like at one point he wants credit for in one episode in season 5, a bunch of people get hurt and he's helping the people, and he goes, and I'm not even draining the knocked out ones.
Yeah. Oh, look at this. Just 100% good guy.
She goes, do you want credit for not preying on these victims? And he goes, no. So in season 6,
right,
she's back from hell.
Yep. And
the only person she feels like she can connect to
is Spike. Yeah.
Who is also like last one, I promise. When Dawn, her sister, not going to get into it.
Oh, we are.
Okay. Is like, what happened to your hands? Spike is the one who goes, she dug out of a grave. It takes forever and it's really hard. And I didn't need to breathe when I did it.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Oof.
And she looks at him like, oh, it's brilliant.
Yeah. Okay.
So, once more with feeling.
So, there are a couple things I want to talk about.
Everyone's cursed. They're seeing their secret feelings.
Yeah, so the entirety of Sunnydale is cursed.
Yeah.
It's not just the main... Yeah, it's not just the Scooby Gang. It is everybody.
Yeah.
You see this because people are walking down the street, and in the background you would see people singing about their days.
And dancing.
Yes.
Good
choreographed dancing. Yes. The bunny line.
Oh.
The bunny line got me.
Oh, she's terrified of bunnies.
I got that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That just...
Can I tell you a quick behind the scenes thing?
Go for it.
That actress and Joss Whedon had this kind of inside joke where when she would screw up a line, she would go, heavy metal! So when he was writing the musical, he was like, I'm going to have her do a heavy metal something.
Awesome.
And so, bunnies, they might be bunnies.
I really like Spike's song.
Yeah.
That was just
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
It is kind of trite to have him live in a mausoleum.
Oh. Well, that's because you didn't see season 5 when he was hunting.
You're right. I did not.
He was looking into caves, abandoned mansions. Like, it was...
I feel like a trailer.
Well...
You just buy one cash.
Yeah. With what money? He doesn't have a job.
Rob people.
He can't hurt anyone because of a thing.
Oh, because of the chip in his head.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
can't rob
writing.
people. Yeah.
Okay. Got you. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's all taken care of, Vince.
What an idiot am I? I like that we see a guy dance himself to death.
Yes.
Like,
essential.
yeah, it shows.
He burns up like a little piece of bacon.
Exactly. I like that it shows. Yeah, it's a fun episode. There's still stakes.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. That's what the demon kind of feeds on.
Okay. Who is Willow's partner?
Tara.
Okay.
How about that dress?
How about the fact that she's mind controlling her partner?
No, Willow's other way around. Willow is mind controlling Tara.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a big deal, man.
I would hope so.
They got 2 more episodes before this blows up.
Good.
Because also Tara, her mom's a witch, so you can learn magic powers, but some of it is a little Harry Potter-ish. Some of it you just got it.
Yeah.
Her family raised her to think she was part demon.
Ooh.
They completely mind warped her. Like, she had to beg and grasp to go to college, and she was the meekest, most terrified thing in the world in college. It was actually being friends.
Does Willow know about that?
Yes.
And still did it?
Yes. It is being friends with Willow and Buffy and them.
How was it elegant? Why?
Yeah.
Why?
It's being friends with Buffy and them, like, that gave her independence. It's a great episode when her family shows up and is like, she's a demon, she's broken. Like, Buffy, because Buffy stands up for her. And Tara in that episode is like, I just kind of am around your friends. They're not really my friends.
Right.
And, Buffy and Xander at that end of that episode, Buffy smacks her stupid brother. And, it's a great, Tara's, it's messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Willow has, magic in the show for Willow has become heroin.
Yeah, I have written down that Willow is using too much magic.
Yes. No, it's become a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she just keeps piling on.
Okay.
Dawn.
Who is this Scrappy Doo motherfucker?
Okay. She's Scrappy Doo. You nailed it.
Yeah.
Do you want to know?
No.
Okay.
No. The quicker we can stop talking about her, the better.
Yeah.
But, there has to be certain things that you know. Dawn is related to Buffy how? She's her sister?
She's her sister.
Okay.
So Dawn is the personification of a magical key from another dimension that some priests made to hide from an evil god. And to make sure the key was protected, they made it into the form of the Slayer's sister. And created a life and memories that everyone had. All of a sudden, there was Dawn.
So she ain't her sister.
She is. It depends on how you look at it. It's at the end of Harry Potter when Harry talks to Dumbledore in his head and says, Professor, is this real or is this just in my head? And Dumbledore says, what's the difference?
No. No. Because Dumbledore wasn't made from scratch.
How are you not made from scratch? So that's Dawn.
Yeah, Dawn.
She's Scrappy Doo. You nailed it.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah. So Dawn gets kidnapped by Mr.
Trick.
Mr. Trick.
Mm-hmm. Dawn is also the perpetual maiden in distress.
Yeah, I gathered that much.
Or Xander.
Yeah. But she gets kidnapped because she steals a necklace.
Yeah, she's got a real klepto thing going on this season.
Real quick, Zach. If you were some ancient forgotten god, and you had to make up a key in the form of somebody's sister, why not just make them, super obedient?
No. The god didn't do that. Some priests did in a rush who were against the evil god from the different dimension. And also, by making the key into a person, they're making it a person that can make decisions, that can do everything.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
Making decisions is the worst thing.
Well, you have to, but you also give it to the best guardian, the chosen one.
Yeah.
The Slayer.
Whatever.
She alone will face the creatures of darkness.
It's not good enough to not die.
Burn, Buffy.
It's The Fire. That song, the last song. I got chills.
Yeah.
I got chills during it. It was so good.
So the last shot where the fire truck goes by,
Mm-hmm.
they actually had to film that in slow motion. So everyone's walking up trying to mouth in slow motion, because it was really hard to get the fire on cue. They did that for 9 hours.
God,
That was a 9-hour shoot trying to get that one shot.
jeez.
Yeah. That was historically the roughest day, was the fire engine.
They also find out that they brought Buffy back
Yes, but
in song form.
I truly...
Maybe the best way.
So Giles, I think, always knew it.
Mm-hmm.
Giles was pissed. The
That they
Scooby
brought
Gang did it behind his back.
Oof. Yeah.
Um,
He doesn't seem to be a fan of, like, magic willy-nilly, so...
He's
I
the
mean,
one
I can
who,
understand it.
He's the one who kind of taught Willow, and now she's going way above and beyond, and he sees all the signs, and when he was a teenager, he went way too far with magic.
Mm.
So, like, he sees what's going on, but she's also a grown-ass woman, and, like, he's not her father. By the end of the season, he laments his inaction.
Understandable. And then... so, like, the Scooby Gang's super cool with the fact that Xander, like, inadvertently murdered a few people by summoning this demon. Does that ever come back?
You can't. Also, look, in the
No,
first season...
absolutely not.
Hold on. In the first season, he gets possessed by a coyote demon, and they eat the principal.
That one I'll give him. That one, you're not in control of your body.
Okay, what about when... I mean, we can't...
We can't what? Say, hey, Xander, you know, you're not allowed to do any magic no mo.
I'm not going to lie. I've never thought about this before. You are absolutely right. He really did...
He should go to jail.
I mean, that
we
guy
saw
who burns
a guy
up like
burnt alive.
And that was just the one we saw.
Yeah.
Presumably.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, they're just going to be chill about that? Like, nobody in the next episode is going to be like, take his demon summon book away?
So could you tell that Allison Hannigan didn't want a song?
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
She has one line.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Yeah.
and it's lamenting the fact that she's singing.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah.
I like it. And then at the end, Buffy and Spike share a kiss.
Yeah. That's their first kiss. Yeah.
I'm
That's
so
their
glad I got
first
to be there
kiss,
for it.
not under some kind of spell.
Gotcha.
Yeah. There's this one episode in season 4 where everything Willow is saying is happening,
Mhm.
and she's bitching about how Buffy has to go hunt for Spike, and she goes, why don't they just marry each other? And they fall in love, and they kiss a bunch. That's their first real kiss, and it's like a big movie kiss.
Gotcha.
And they're both singing, that song is called Coda, and they're both singing the choruses from their respective songs. He's singing the first lines from Let Me Rest in Peace, and she's singing the first lines from I Touch the Fire and It Freezes Me. I forget what it's, you know. I have that album. I listen to it a lot.
I was singing it at work.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, let me rest. It's so good.
Yeah.
Just
A lot of it's really good.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah. I have the future guest Dave and his wife. His wife is a fellow big Buffy fan, and poor Dave has had to listen to a lot of drunken renditions of me and Teenage just belting out.
That's good. That's very good.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's a real shocker.
That's a 5 out of 5 for me.
Yeah, I was expecting you to like the musical.
Yeah.
But I was expecting you to be really not into the trappings of Buffy. Cool.
Yeah, no, I dug it.
I don't have homework ready for this time. I'll think of it.
Let's go over nerdy stuff we did this week.
Oh, mine's light. I've been so busy.
Okay.
I'm getting married, man.
Yeah,
so I'm working all the fucking time. My nerdy stuff. I've been really into my nerdy podcasts. I just listened to... I just started listening to this podcast called Paul and Dave Try Not to Say the Word Cunt, which is Paul Something and Dave Foley from Kids in the Hall. And it's like 45 minutes of them just kind of riffing and trying not to say cunt because it offends Americans.
They are not American?
No, they're both Canadian.
Oh, okay. So, no, if they were Australian, that's plainly.
By the way, we almost had an Australian guy open the show, but I walked away from it.
Thank you. Thank you. There's only so much I can say yes to.
Who knows? He might show up later.
Please no.
So a lot of comedy Bang Bang, a lot of kind of like it had another Dead Authors Renaissance. Just shit I can do in my car while I'm Ubering or I read I read my homework. I'm trying to think. Oh, I finished Black Hammer.
And?
Yeah. Does it end there or is there more?
There's going to be more.
Okay.
Jeff Lemire sort of works
so
on
good.
it in spurts in between his major publisher titles, but I think recently he announced that he's going to step back from doing major publication work and try and do Black Hammer a little bit more.
What's been so interesting about Black Hammer is
everything, because it's dope.
Feeling like I know what's going on, but it's like having pieces to the story, and he keeps just putting these other puzzle pieces in, and it just doesn't feel linear,
right?
It
feels Tarantino-esque.
Yeah, it's amazing. It really is.
Did you read
can't wait for more.
The Sherlock Frankenstein?
I saw that was in there.
Yeah, you should check that out.
Yeah,
it's a part of the thing.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah,
I saw that was in there. I wanted to make sure I got to Ice Cream Man, and then that was so short. I'm actually surprised I didn't jump to it. I'm easily distracted.
No worries.
And that's been my nerdy stuff this week. I have not played D&D in a coon's age. I started Red Dead Redemption. I'm kind of into that. That's it.
Gotcha. I don't know if I would classify this as nerdy, but I don't know why. So at work one day, I should stop saying at work one day.
Mm-hmm.
At a place one day, I was hanging out with a coworker of mine, and I was watching the Van Wilder.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I was watching Van Wilder because I like irreverent sex comedies from the late 90s.
I think so, yeah.
So I'm watching that, and my coworker mentions that he finds Tara Reid attractive. Not my cup of tea, but more power to you.
Yeah.
And then, because I watched Van Wilder, no, American Pie was recommended to me. And I found out that on Netflix, almost, if not every, American Pie movie is on Netflix.
Oh, no.
I found out by watching every American Pie movie on Netflix.
Oh, Jesus.
Every single one. 1, 2, Wedding, Band Camp, Book of Love.
Okay, I'm glad you brought this up.
Naked Mile.
When you walked in not wearing pants but having that pie on your crotch, I was like, that's weird.
Yeah, that's just an aesthetic choice. It's unrelated, actually.
No, I'm getting How was the Wedding one? I haven't seen that one.
Not good. Believe it or not, not great. It does what it's supposed to do.
I remember seeing the second one when I was 13 or 14, young.
Yeah.
And being like, that's enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I got that feeling. I got that feeling after watching the first one, but still watch the rest of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much all.
What's going on with D&D?
I haven't been able to go to D&D for the past couple weeks. Yeah.
Shit.
Just stuff's come up and the girlfriend's sick and just not a great time. I've also been working a lot, so I just haven't been feeling up to it. But this Wednesday, getting back down to business.
Nice.
Make my guys go and fight an ancient wizard and try and right the wrongs that they did in the past before they jumped 500 years in the future.
Sweet. Make the wizard look like Lopan.
No.
China is here, Mr. Butters.
Okay, so you said you don't have homework for me.
I don't have anything locked and loaded. And last time it came up so organically, I almost kind of want to just do that again instead of sitting here trying to force something out. Do you have something in mind?
I do. I have 2 options for you again.
Let's do it.
So you can either pick a podcast or a comic.
I pick comic again.
Okay. There's a comic called Southern Bastards. It's by Jason Aaron.
Ooh, I like Jason Aaron.
Yeah.
I'm on board.
First volume is available for you to read, so I want you to knock that out so we can talk about it.
That's fine, but I'm not on mic, but hopefully people can hear me. I'll probably also read that Frankenstein thing, so be prepared to talk about that.
I will talk about Black Hammer anytime you want.
Yeah, because I when I saw that in your collection, I was like, But like, as I said, I really wanted to make sure I got to Ice Cream Man. And it was a slow enough day. And Ice Cream Man, I don't know if I mentioned this when we talked about it, is short.
Yeah, it's a breezy read.
You'll read it in 20 minutes. And I was, I'll say it, I was at work. Like, I stopped every now and then because someone walked into my office.
You were at work?
Yeah, someone walked in the office like, hey, I need gloves. No, never mind. That's not for the podcast.
Okay. Well, Zach, I do believe that's the end of this podcast.
That's the end of the podcast. Well, you know what that means.
It means we have to end it the same way we end it every week.
By singing our made-up Irish shanty. Well, I went down to the pub the other day.
And when I went there, I went to the keep, and I had said.
And what I said all day, and what I say all the time. That's the end of the show. I hope it's good, because for me it was just fine. Wow.